Good evening. I'm Shirley Howell. I'm a member of the LB 840 committee. First of all, let me state for the record that I am not against the proposed hotel. I'm only against the use of $160,000 of LB 840 monies. Although I do have some concerns about the projected occupancy rate, the projected electric and utility costs, but I'm certainly not in any position or have the knowledge to challenge those and other projections. But I do have a vote to whether I believe LB 840 monies should be used to help finance the project. Public perception, I think, I'm not sure, I may be wrong, is that LB 840 money should help finance those projects that can't quite get financing from other sources. We have many people coming to us and saying, well, we can't quite get that other $20,000 we need or the $30,000 we need from other financial institutions. And for whatever reason, especially those projects where a banking institution doesn't feel comfortable loaning whatever is needed to make it happen. The rules do allow exceptions. The committee can commit LB 840 money even when a banking institution or an officer of that bank has a personal interest in the project. But many will ask why, if it's such a good deal, why not have banking finance the whole amount? $160,000 is a large part of the monies currently available for the committee to spend, taking into account projects already committed. Spending it will leave the committee with about $35,000 to fund any other projects, and we have requests pending for more than that. When I asked a representative of ABP Incorporated if the hotel would still be built if the committee denied the $160,000, and he said yes, it would, without some amenities. The $160,000 would represent 8 full-time employees, as Greg said. Those employees being mainly maintenance, housekeeping employees, desk clerks, without benefits, and wages for the maintenance and housekeeping employees of $7.50 to $9 per hour. Our desk clerks with wages of $8.50 to $11 per hour. If you don't deny this, if you don't allow this request, those employees will still be needed. I voted no to the use of LB 840 money. Thank you.
Thank you. Excuse me, Your Honor. I have a couple comments to make regarding this particular request, and I too am a member of the LB 840 committee, and I did vote in favor of the project based on the fact that they met all the criteria necessary to be approved for the project. I think that whether or not they're going to do the project or not, based on whether they're going to get the money from us or not, it didn't really play into it for me. The fact that I think that there's probably a little bit of history here, that I think some people, this particular group of individuals have dealt with the city before, and things maybe hadn't worked as well as they should have. I think there's a little bit of history there that goes with that. What I tried to do is I tried to base my decision on all the facts that were presented, as well as looking at the fact that, number one, if in the fact that the project would fail at any particular time, that the money is personally guaranteed and the assets were more than enough to cover the personal guarantee of the $160,000. The fact that the LB 840 committee recently approved funds for Lambert Vet Supply for their new startup pharmaceutical line. There again, that was going to start up with or without the money, I think, because actually Doug Lambert already had the project up and running, and he already had people hired, and he already had done research and done market analysis with his product, and I think that that project would have went, and he had plenty of funds to fund it. He has probably maybe as much money as some of the banks in southeast Nebraska, maybe not the First National, but still he was allowed that money, and I just don't think that you can hand it to one person and then not the other based on whatever your personal feelings are. I think that if they've qualified for it and they have met the qualifications, I do think that some of their figures that I looked at, and I know I discussed with some of the other members, projections, can, that's kind of a fine line. They can be one way or the other depending on how things work out. You can't necessarily predict exactly what's going to happen as far as the business goes when it's a startup business. If it was a business that had a performance that you could rely on past history, that would be a different thing. So I don't know whether their figures are going to work out, whether they're going to have a 60% occupancy rate or a 50% or whatever percent they have. They'll just have to adjust for it. But I still think that if they're going to create jobs, and whether we support them or not, but I think that we should support them because I think they're creating jobs, and I think that they've got economic development in mind, and they're just pushing hard for it, and that was the reason that I supported the project.
Thank you. Other comments?
My name is Stan Bucco. I'm one of the principals in the hotel project. I don't know exactly what I want to say. I guess first of all I should address the LB 840 in the history. And the history, unfortunately, has been bad. There have been a number of projects that have been LB 840 money has been granted to, and the business failed in a short period of time. The lesson to be learned, I guess I'm trying to get to this history, if you want economic development to be successful with LB 840 assistance, you got to make sure that the people involved in this are putting up a significant amount of their own capital. This pretty well guarantees the project's going to go forward. In the past, when LB 840 money was used, and Shirley alluded to this, it was to some businesses that really had no capital, and unfortunately they were not successful and the money was lost. We are committed to this project. Whether the LB 840 assistance is given or not, we will go ahead with the project, but we will probably have to cut back on some of the amenities. Perhaps we wanted like granite countertops, we wanted to have a swimming pool. Some of these things we might have to scale back on. The three of us have worked on this for a long time. We wanted to do something that would be of significant economic development for the city. And you think about that, what can you do? A lot of things you might look at, there will be problems with that, with environmental problems. There may be problems with pollution problems. This isn't the kind of economic development you want. A hotel does not present either one of these two problems. And the third and the most important thing we think with a hotel helping with economic development in Fairbury is you're going to not just create jobs, but you're going to bring outside business to Fairbury, and you're going to bring outside tax revenue to Fairbury. These three criteria we think are very important for economic development. We've done a lot of work on this. We had a feasibility study made. We spent a lot of money to get this done. We've studied the location for a long time. We feel that the location is desirable because there's visibility from both highways 15 and 36. And you might be surprised, but the Department of Transportation comes up with a traffic count of a little over 6,000 units a day on Highway 15 and a little over 4,000 units a day on Highway 136 for combined in excess of 10,000. Admittedly, that's local traffic that might be counted 2 or 3 times, but we think there's opportunity here. We feel what's happening now is a lot of business is leaving and going to places like Beatrice where they have a number of hotels, and of course when they leave there they don't spend any money locally either. As far as the jobs that we're be concerned, Shirley mentioned those, but there's some high-end jobs here too. There will be a full-time manager, There will be an assistant manager, there will be 4 desk clerks, and we think 5 people engaged in maintenance or housekeeping. In addition to that, the construction phase will involve employing a large number of people. Some of these will be local, some will not be. We'll use local wherever possible. My partner, Dick Allen, is not here tonight, so let me just toot his horn a little bit, because we're talking really about jobs here. Man, Fairbury needs jobs. We're down to less than 4,000 people. We've got to have significant economic development. Dick's record, he created PBI Industries. He built Runza, even though he's resold it. He created Prairie Point Plaza. The collective 3 is employing well over 100 jobs. This is the kind of project, this was Dick's idea. We agreed with him that this is a worthwhile project for Fairbury. We're going to do this, we're committed to doing this. We want to see some economic development for the town. We would like some LB 840 assistance. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments?
Mr. Epperly, as far as these projects are concerned, when there's a job, the requirements to create jobs, isn't there a minimum amount that they have to create? I mean, that's why it's $20,000 for each job.
They're actually, that is, the $20,000 per job figure is what we call it. There's nothing defined in the plan as far as a minimum amount, other than, you know, they'd have to make at least minimum wage. The $20,000 per job requirement is an arbitrary figure that we use to define each job and how much we can allocate based on the number of jobs being created. And so there isn't, I guess, what I would call any specific threshold or floor that you would say.
But that's for a guaranteed 2-year period that they have to keep it in, or they have to pay it back, correct?
Yes, they have to hire those positions within a 12-month period and then maintain those for another 24 months for a total period of 36 months.
13, obligating LB 840 funds for a performance-based grant in the amount of $160,000 to ABP Investments, Inc.
Motion to adopt resolution number 813.
Second. Been moved and seconded that we adopt resolution 813. Any discussion? Please cast your vote. Polson, Bailey, Carmichael, Brown, Vossler, Bender, Gazelka, Davis, all voting yes. Motion carried.